Hi, I'm Mrs. Ford. I teach Science and Social Studies levels 11 through 12. It's actually 9 through 14, but it's around about 11 through 12. I have my students leveled by units, so they move according to how fast they go through the unit. So I have them actually sitting in groups according to their unit. So when they come in the morning, they take a seat at a table, and that's basically where they are right now in science or social studies or whatever class it is. So over here we have, I'll just kind of give an idea. So these two tables right here are working on the highest unit, which is about cells and organisms. And they're over here because they've graduated from the solar system, and then before that they worked on sun, moon, and earth. So right now I have 3 different units going, and there are about 2 tables per group. And those change according to the day, how fast people test out. So their seat could essentially change from week to week. First thing we do is say our shared vision, and that's up there in the front. Each class has a shared vision that they created according to how they want the classroom to flow, how they want to feel, how they want me to treat them. So we have 5A, 5B, which is my homeroom, and then 5C. So we start out saying the shared vision. 1, 2, 3.
Our shared vision for science is that we will always pay attention, focus on our work, and listen to the speaker.
We start talking about our review for the day. What are we working on? I kind of go over points that are on the board. I have each unit separated up here, and then I also have an outline in Buzz for each unit. But this is just a way for me to talk to the class about it. So if the students are working on sun, moon, and earth, I'll remind them what they need to give me, what evidence they need to produce. And I also talk to them about the experiments. There's a couple experiments they need to do in the beginning, at the end of the unit. And then actually unit 2 is just introduction, so they just watch videos for that and write a summary, so that's not a huge unit. Then they move on to the next one, and I explain to them which projects, choice projects they need to do and give me, and then how they need to test out. So I just review what they need to do for the day. We review different topics. Okay, why do we have moon phases? What are the different parts of the cell? And we just kind of brainstorm a little bit just to get everybody focused on science. I ask them if they have any questions for the day, and then they basically, after we answer those questions, we start. So what I do is, if you look back here, in order to get ready for the student-centered classroom, you have to be very organized. So I organize my students' work into different bins. So we have A, B, and C for this row, A, B, and C for this row, and class A, B, and C for this row. So they know exactly where their notebook is at all times. So I'll ask, okay, somebody from this row, go grab the notebooks, pass them out for each row. And then as they're doing that, I call on tables to come up and get their computers. So this is worked out because there's not too many people up. There's only 1 group at a time getting their computers, and then 3 different people handing out the notebooks for the rows. And as they're doing that, they're moving to whatever table they need to be at, whatever unit they're on. If they're not, say they're testing for the day, then we have a testing table, which is over here. And they take their notebook, they go to the testing table, they put up their boards, and they study for a couple minutes because they know I'm not ready to give them their test. And they just kind of review. And then everyone else starts working. And my students know that if they need to get my attention, that we have different hand signals, which is also up here. And this is the where am I. I used to do it a little differently where they wrote their name on it, but that was too many people getting up and walking around, and with science we're already walking around enough, so this just made it easier. So if they have to use the bathroom, they put number 1. Number 2, for they just have a general question. 3, I need some water. 4, I need a conference to see if I'm ready to test. And 5, I'm ready to test. But when they're ready to test, they've already moved to the testing table, so I kind of have an idea that they're ready to test. So basically what I'm doing at this point is walking around, making sure, okay, they have their test to test, everyone is working. And once everyone is working and knows what they're doing and is kind of in that process, I can go and find a group to work with. Today we had these two tables working on cells, so I brought out my model of the cell and we started reviewing the parts. One of the choice projects was to make a brochure about going through a cell. So we were talking about how we could do that, and it just gets them familiar with the parts in a fun way. Like, how would you travel through the cell? Like why we have, when you did the results, you draw the pictures. Like, what did you have to do with the sun, the moon, and the earth? How did you have to line them up so you can actually draw them? Okay. Did you figure it out in the house? I like the way Adrian is working. I'm going to give him a point. And I like the way Danae is working. I'm going to give her a point. Adrian, got a lot of points today. Let's go. Okay. So what are you showing me right here? Okay, so which moving phase are we in, Alicia? Is it a big shadow or a small shadow? Now why don't you come a little closer? Okay, because you have it set up right, but you don't know which moving phase you're in, and you don't know which side of the shadow should be. So what I want you to do is to go look at the board out there and just kind of get an idea of how to have it set up right. Okay, Kaya, are you ready? Can you use a cup from over there? See if there's a dry cup. Oh, remind me to talk about that when we're done. It's kind of not easy. Well, that was just one of the back there. I wonder if they got mixed up with the other classes' work.